Every leader needs a pod, but how to build a leadership pod that supports you? Even the strongest leaders need a structure that carries them back when they drift. Leadership is often sold to us as a destination of influence and authority, a place where you finally have the power to make a difference. But what no one tells you about, what the glossy brochures and inspirational keynotes conveniently leave out, is the profound and crushing loneliness that comes with the territory. You know the paradox well. You're surrounded by people all day, yet rarely supported. Everyone looks to you for direction. Few ask what you need. And over time, the unspoken rule becomes, leaders hold others. But who holds the leader? You can be surrounded by people all day long, employees, stakeholders, board members, clients, and yet feel completely and utterly alone. You are constantly in demand. Your calendar is a chaotic tapestry of back-to-back meetings, but true, meaningful connection can feel impossibly out of reach. We default to perfectionism, we numb out, we stop taking risks, and we start leading from a place of fear instead of a place of courage. This isn't just a feeling, it's a dangerous reality that corrodes leadership from the inside out. So what's the antidote to this isolating loneliness? It's not another networking event or a bigger executive team. It's something smaller, more intentional, and infinitely more powerful. It's what we call a leadership pod. This isn't your board of directors, your direct reports, or the people you grab a superficial coffee with once a quarter. A leadership pod is your personal, hand-picked brain trust. It's a small, dedicated group of people committed to showing up for each other, telling the hard truths and holding a safe space for the messy realities of leadership and life. It is your safe harbor in the inevitable storms that come with daring to lead. It's where you can go to take off the armor and just be human. A pod is fundamentally different from a network. A network is about scale. A pod is about depth. Your network is for exchanging business cards. Your pod is for exchanging truths. In your pod, your title doesn't matter. Your position on the org chart is irrelevant. They are here for the behind-the-scenes footage, the moments of doubt, ethical dilemmas, gut-wrenching decisions that keep you up at night. Building a pod doesn't happen by accident. It requires intention, courage, a willingness to get clear on what you need and who you can trust. This is a rumble, a process that requires vulnerability and honesty from the very beginning. There are 5 key steps to building a strong, resilient pod. First and most importantly, choose for trust, not for titles. Look for people who have demonstrated that they can hold your confidence. People who have earned the right to hear your story. Second, keep it intimate. 3 to 5 people is powerful. When the circle is small, there is nowhere to hide. Third, diversify perspectives. Include at least one person outside your industry or role. This diversity is your greatest asset. Fourth, set a cadence. Monthly is the minimum. Bi-weekly is ideal. What matters most is consistency. Fiercely protect that time on your calendar. Fifth, define the agreements. Confidentiality, no posturing, radical honesty, mutual uplift. These are the guardrails that make the vulnerability possible. Co-create the container before you begin. So you've done the hard work. You've rumbled with who to invite. You've set the agreements. You've started meeting with your pod. What's the payoff? The benefits are transformational. The most immediate benefit is profound emotional support and the feeling of fierce belonging. It diffuses the shame that thrives in secrecy and isolation. Another critical benefit is crisis prevention. Diverse perspectives, not tied to internal politics, see what you can't. They can ask the tough questions your team might avoid. That single question can be the difference between steering clear of an iceberg and hitting it head-on. Your pod is your anchor to your why. They remind you of core values when you're tempted to compromise. This grounding is essential for long-term, sustainable, values-driven leadership. Most important, a pod restores and protects your humanity. It's a space for laughter, for tears, for celebrating small wins, for mourning losses. More connected to your humanity, you become a more humane leader. You lead with empathy, more compassion, and more courage, creating a culture where everyone feels safer to bring their whole human selves to work. The work of a leader is demanding, and the arena is unforgiving. We can't afford to believe the myth that we have to go it alone. The truth is, isolation is a choice, but it's often a choice we make by default, not by design. The time to build your ark is not when the floodwaters are already rising. You have to build your leadership pod now, before you desperately need it. It is one of the most strategic and soul-sustaining decisions you will ever make. It takes guts to reach out to someone and say, "I value your perspective and I trust you." I'm trying to build a small circle for real talk and mutual support. Would you be willing to be in it with me? It feels vulnerable. You risk rejection, but the risk of staying isolated is far greater. Start there. Send that email. Make that call. Take that first small, brave step. Your pod doesn't have to be perfect from day one. It just has to start. The act of building it is, in itself, an act of daring leadership. It is a declaration that you are choosing connection over armor, courage over comfort, and belonging over going it alone. Your leadership depends on it, and frankly, so does your humanity. Every great leader has a pod, whether they admit it or not. Will you design it consciously, or wait until isolation designs it for you? Follow Nume. Share this. We're building the future of leadership, where no one leads alone. Nume, where leaders return to themselves.